Welcome back Behind the Stick, everybody. I'm Chris Payne, the digital bartender, and today I've got a very special video for you. We're going to be making one of my absolute favorite cocktails, the Negroni. Now, not just any Negroni, we're going to be utilizing this bad boy right here. I'm sure you've seen it on the channel now for a while. We're going to be barrel aging this Negroni. Now, as with any barrel aged cocktail, it creates such a different experience. It's almost like a brand new cocktail in and of itself. There's several reasons to barrel age. Go over those with you. So first of all, anytime you put something in wood, especially oak wood, what they're going to do is either toast the inside of the barrel, or if it's like, say, an American whiskey, it's going to be charred on the inside of the barrel. And what that does is it splinters the wood on the inside and creates more surface area, and therefore more interaction between the wood in the barrel and the spirit. That's going to impart vanilla, creme brulee, nice toasty oak notes, and just going to kind of round out and soften the edges of your spirit. Now, in addition to that, we're going to get the advantages of time. Okay, when you make cocktails to order, all of the ingredients get mixed together, and they're just together for a few seconds before someone enjoys them. Barrel aging allows us to combine the ingredients and keep them together for 30, 60, 90 days. So just like a pot of mom's homemade chili is better the next day, cocktails are going to be a little more complex, developed, and working all in harmony and unison when they've had some time together in the barrel. So today we're going to show you exactly how to prepare and cure your barrel and get everything set up and batched in large format. Normally we make single cocktails. Today we're going to show you how to scale that and do it in batch form. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so to prepare our barrel for our cocktail to age inside, first we have to cure it. Now, what that involves is swelling up the wood of the barrel against these metal rings. So we're going to fill it with water, and what that's going to do is it's going to saturate the wood. The wood will then swell against these rings, forming a really tight seal. And to speed along the process, we're not just going to fill the barrel. What we're going to do is submerge it completely underwater and basically swell it from the ins and the outside at the same time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy filled up. Anytime you put a funnel in something, if you want to just lift it slightly from the base and create an air gap between the funnel and the item you're filling, it'll allow for a little better air exchange, and you won't have to fill the funnel up, slowly let it drain and refill it. It'll flow nicely into your barrel. Now that we've got our barrel completely full, we'll place our stopper inside, and then we'll get it submerged fully underwater and it'll start its cure. Now we're going to fill our igloo cooler up with water and then submerge our barrel completely down inside of that. And what that's going to do is speed up the curing process by at least double. So let's fill up the igloo cooler. Okay, while our cooler's filling up with water, I'm just going to give you a brief history of the Negroni cocktail. Jump ahead to the 5-minute, 5-second mark in this video to skip this section. The Negroni is one of the few cocktails with a traceable history that goes all the way back to the early 20th century. Its origins are documented in a book by Luca Picci, head bartender at Cafe Riviera in Florence, Italy at the time, and states that the drink was created at Bar Cassini in Florence, Italy, by a gentleman by the name of Count Camillo Negroni. Basically, he ordered an Americano, sweet vermouth, Campari, and soda, and he swapped out the gin in place of the soda, and thus was born the Negroni cocktail. This all went down right around
1920. Okay, looks like we're getting close.
Okay, so I think at this point we've got the cooler filled up enough that we can put our filled barrel inside and put a brick on top, and hopefully it will be submerged enough. If not, we'll just add a little more water to top it off, okay? So as you can see, right after you finish filling your barrel with water, it's gonna leak, and that's natural. The wood hasn't swelled up yet against the metal rings and created that seal, so let's go ahead and fully submerge this barrel. And I've got a brick just from my garden that I'm going to put on top and help keep that fully submerged underwater. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to the cooler just to make sure it's completely full. The barrel itself is it's gonna absorb some of this water, and so after a few hours, if I don't fill it a couple inches above the barrel, the top will be poking out again, so let's just make sure. All right, I feel pretty good about that level, so what we're gonna do is close the lid and put this guy away for 24 hours. We'll lift it up, see if it's leaking, refill it one more time, check to see if it's leaking for sure, empty it, and then we'll be ready to fill it with our barrel-aged Negroni. Okay, so while our barrel sets up, let's go ahead and make our Negroni. Now, we're gonna do this in batch form. A Negroni is typically equal parts gin, Campari, which is a Italian bitter liqueur that's infused with various botanicals and roots, and then sweet vermouth. Now, for this particular cocktail, I chose a local South Carolina low country gin. It's a little bit of an overproof. It's 88 proof instead of the standard 80, so it's gonna have a little bit of heat to it. It's fairly dry and grassy, which is gonna work really nice in this cocktail because I've chosen Carpano Antica formula. So here we have our Italian bitter liqueur, the Campari, and then this is the Carpano Antica formula. It's a very rich, sweet vermouth. It's actually named after the gentleman who is credited with first creating a vermouth, which is basically an aromatized wine. Now this one has beautiful, rich cocoa and vanilla notes, and against the drier, grassier gin, it's just gonna really elevate that. It's gonna be nice contrast. And then we get our delicious kind of burnt orange and bitter notes from the Campari. Beautiful cocktail. So since we have a very rich, vanilla forward style of vermouth, I've chosen to up the gin portion from 1 liter of Campari, 1 liter of sweet vermouth to 1.5 liters of gin. And we're also gonna add a little bit of pure vanilla bean paste and some swaths of orange peel for the 24 to 48 hours while our barrel is curing. We're gonna let that infuse into our spirit, and then right before we barrel age it, we're gonna strain those components out because once they go in the barrel, I'll never get the peels or the vanilla back out of that. And if we want to reuse this barrel, they're usually good for a couple of different agings. We're going to want to get all those elements out and just have the pure spirit go in. So to start, I have a nice big Cambro here, and I have our Bullrush local gin from here in the low country of South Carolina. Again, just really like this gin. It's not overly perfumey or floral. It's got some nice structure, dryness, and some really beautiful kind of grassy botanical notes to it. And it's going to pair really nicely in this particular cocktail. All right, so 1 bottle, which is, these are 750 milliliter bottles. And so 2 of those is 1.5 liters, which is what we're looking for. And then we're getting, you know, a full liter each of both the Campari and the Antica formula. Add our Campari. Look at that color. Wow. All right, once we add the sweet vermouth, I promise it'll look a little bit less like Kool-Aid. Okay, let's grab our knife, as this has got a little seal on it. Okay. Love the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle. Yeah, and see, this has that beautiful like cola color to it, and it's gonna add depth and richness to this cocktail. And that is a beautiful thing right there, folks. All right, now what I'm gonna do is, I've got an orange here, and I've already taken a few peels out of it, but I don't need many. We'll just finish. Get a few. You don't wanna go too deep. You don't really want the pith, because that'll be just extra bitterness that we don't need. We just want the oils that live in the skin. And then I've got a really nice organic vanilla bean paste. You can use the real thing, you know, split open a couple Madagascar vanilla beans and scrape out the seeds, but this was $12 and it's many beans worth. Or I could have bought 3 individual beans for $27, and essentially I'm gonna get the same effect. So I went with the less expensive option, and for a batch this size, we're gonna do, it's really strong, we're just gonna do 1 bar spoon. All right, just kind of stir that around in there. Make sure it's come off your spoon. It does stick pretty good. Yeah, just kind of use the cocktail to rinse that off. All right. Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna pop a lid on this, pop it in the fridge for, again, 24 to 48 hours, depending on how long it takes for our barrel to cure. And then we'll strain out the peels and the little vanilla bean seeds from here, get our cocktail funneled into the barrel, and then it's just a waiting game. 30 days. See you back here in a minute. All right, so now we've got our barrel pulled out of the water and dried off, and I've tested it a couple times for leaks, and we are good to go there. So we're gonna empty the water out of this barrel and turn it upside down, let all the water drain out for 20 minutes or so, and then we'll meet you back and we will fill it with our Negroni. All right, we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so now that we've got our barrel completely dried, it's time to strain out the orange peels and the vanilla bean from our cocktail and then get it put in the barrel. So we have our fryer oil micro-particle filter, and I've got a couple smaller Cambros. They'll just be easier to deal with once we need to fill the barrel. And so I'm gonna muscle up this big guy here and get it strained out. All right, so we've got our strainer here. All right, this is a puzzle. Here we go. And we're just gonna pour it down right into this Cambro. All right, and we'll set this up here for just a moment. Slide this forward and repeat the process. Looks like we've got a little more room in the first one, so we will finish it off in there. Loving the color on this guy, and I can't wait to see what the final product is going to look like once we get it completely all strained out. All right. That's good. Just gonna set this to the side. Okay, so now we're gonna get these filled into our barrel one at a time. So I'm just gonna set these down on the low bar for a moment. Oh, they're pretty full. All right, and we'll get the barrel set up. There we go. All right, so let's get this nice front and center. We've got our funnel right down on top. Okay, so those small containers were a bit cumbersome to also pour into the funnel. So what I've done is I've transferred the liquid into a small measuring cup. And anytime before you put something in a barrel and age it, you want to go and see what you're working with. So let's go ahead and taste test our infusion. I've got a straw here. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. You definitely pick up those vanilla tones. The orange is present. That beautiful Campari is certainly the star of the show. And yeah, the heat from the gin definitely stands up to all those sweeter, richer notes from the Carpano as well. I can't wait to see how this is in 30 days. So again, we're gonna put a little bit of an air gap here between our funnel and our barrel so that we get really nice flow.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is going to be a really nicely edited clip of me filling the barrel. And truth be told, there were certainly a few blunders and spills, so I would certainly recommend you put a basin down underneath your barrel to catch any drips, because who wants to just waste that deliciousness right there? Am I right? Anyway, hindsight's 20/20.
All right, so there we have it. Our barrel is completely filled, and we'll put the stopper in the top. And 30 days later, we'll have a beautiful barrel-aged Negroni. We'll be back to taste that shortly. Welcome back, everybody. It has now been 31 days actually for our Negroni to be aging in the barrel, and now it comes time for the best part, the taste. So we have our rocks glass, and we have our favorite little ice sphere here. All right, and now even though this is already together, we're still going to use a jigger and measure out how much cocktail we're putting in our glass. And so anytime you're going to empty your barrel, you're going to want to remove the stopper. That allows the air to flow through. All right, so we'll start 60 mils. And then we'll do the 30 side. So 90 mils or 3 ounces. Very good. I've got an orange peel here. Let's express the oils straight down over the glass, right around the rim. And then I like to leave the peel sticking just close to where your nose is going to be so you get all those beautiful notes. Moment of truth. Here we go. This is the 30-day barrel-aged Negroni. Oh, heaven in a glass. Absolutely worth all 31 days for this delicious. Wow, you get the vanilla, the orange, the Campari is on the front end, but I'm so glad I used that local dry Bullrush gin because it didn't get lost in all those sweeter, richer components. You still have kind of the gin notes with the structure in the backbone piercing through. This has been a fun project. Try barrel aging cocktails for yourself and let me know which ones you try and how they turned out. Until next time, I'm Chris Payne, the Digital Bartender.